So I'm back downstairs after what happened last evening as far as the X-68, trying to shoot it on 800 psi HPA. Got through one mag and about halfway through a second magazine of the lightweight 7.3 gram aluminum alien play. I had what I thought at the time was probably a blown O-ring. However, this evening I took it apart with the full intention of replacing the O-ring, which I did anyways. But I couldn't find anything wrong with that, the 11 O-ring, or for that matter, the other one as well, with the 21 I think it is, or I don't know, I might be getting that mixed up. But the larger O-ring, I checked every O-ring I could find, and nothing looked torn, out of place, loose, worn. I mean, they looked brand new. I usually keep this gun well lubricated. Never had any problems since I got it with O-rings. This is the first time I've ever had to replace one. So I decided to replace it anyways with one that I had purchased ahead of time, expecting to need them. So I put that on there. Feels like a snugger fit than the factory O-ring was on there. I think it was a 7.5 by times 2 or something like that. It looks slightly bigger, I think, than what I took out, but it fit in there fine into the valve. So we're going to give that a try. I think, given that I didn't see anything obvious with the O-rings, I honestly think what happened is I had that problem that happens now and then, where the bolt just kind of cocked inside there, kind of went sideways, and then didn't line up with the cap any longer. And of course, at that point, I was losing air. It was probably chattering, causing that automatic fire sound that I was getting. I really think that's what it was. Matter of fact, Sterling incorporated a fix into his rear ASAs and his power mods that provides like a ledge, I guess you'd call it, or a seat or a ledge for it to resolve that issue. I know others just came out with the Gen 2 bolt and valve assembly. But I really think that's what happened to me last night, in addition to having some lower pressures than I probably thought I was going to get out of an 800 output bottle. So I just pumped this up, literally finished pumping this up to 3,000. This is my 800 output tank, and I'm going to put this on my test meter, my test gauge, and I'm going to see what it's reading now. Last night off camera, after I had all the problems, I decided to test the tank. It showed I had 1100 psi in the tank, and when I put it on here, it was only showing 700. So I don't know if the regulator's acting wonky or what, or if it was just because the tank was a little bit lower. But still, 1100 capacity on here. I would think it shouldn't be affecting it. Maybe it is the regulator. So I don't know. I'm going to put it on now that I know the tank's been pumped up fresh. It's full. And we'll see what I get on here. And we'll show you guys what I get. I have another regulator, an adjustable regulator that came in. It's kind of a cheaper one from AliExpress, but I wanted to give it a try. So I may end up swapping this out if this one is indeed going to be soft and only giving me 700 psi, then I'll probably do that. But if it turns out to work okay on the gauge now, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see what I'm going to do. I also got a couple more tanks on order anyways. So let's see what we're getting there. Well, we're getting more than 700, so that's good. All right. We are getting not quite 800, but I would say probably well, let's pop it off. Let's put it back on. $750. Yeah, $750 I think that is. Let's see if the glare from the lights, but to me it looks about $750. So You know, just a week ago, this thing was reading 800 on here, on this test gauge. Now it's 750, so I don't know. Hopefully it settled into this, and that's as low as it's going to go. I don't know. But like I said, I got another regulator I can use on here. And then I also have a couple new tanks coming as well, so we shall see. I'm going to try this right now, though, since I put it all back together, lubricated again. Change that change that one firing pin O-ring. So I'm gonna see what it does now. I probably shouldn't have changed it. I probably should have put it back together first so I could see if it was working fine. Then I could chalk it up to, you know, having that problem. But I really think that's what it was, because it just doesn't make sense that those O-rings would look that good, you know. So we shall see. All right. So we're going to take this full 3,000 PSI tank that's supposed to be 800 PSI output. Right now it's reading 750. And we're going to give it a try. And I ordered a couple shorter tanks, smaller CI tanks, because this thing, especially with this gog on and off, is way too long for me. Way too long. It's like right at the end of where I'm comfortable, especially if I gotta hold the X radar. I mean, if I didn't have to hold the X radar and I could hold the forward grip, then this wouldn't be too bad at all, actually. But I like it a little shorter, a little closer up. So I got a 7 CI tank and a 9 that I ordered. 7 CI is 1100 output, and I think the 9's like 1,000 output or something. I got those on order, so hopefully I'll have them in a week or so. All right, so let's air it up and see if we can get by the first step, which is airing it up, and see what we get. See if we get any leaks right away. Well, that's a good sound. Heard the bolt. I'm not hearing any leaks. I don't have any other gauges to go by with this setup, but sounds good. I guess let's try a magazine. Since I know the pressure's much lower than when I was having problems with as far as mag dropping and stuff like that, so I'm going to go ahead and shoot the 9.9 riot balls. 9.9 gram riot balls. So we'll do six of the 9.9s, and we'll take some readings on it, some feet per second. See what we get from, I guess, 750 PSI, HPA. All right. Mag 1, shot 1. If this works out good, then I'll throw the 1100 tank that I have over there. It's got about 2,500 PSI in it right now. It's probably good enough to test with. All right, here we go. 750 PSI, 9.9 gram, shot 1. Now, no off-gassing, no leaks, sounds good. I heavily oiled it, so you probably saw a whole bunch of stuff blowing out the barrel there. 328 feet per second. Not that great, but with the heavy stuff, that was shot 1. Go shot 2. Feet per second will probably climb up. I got a lot of lube in this. Shot 2. 334 feet per second. Shot 3. 334. Consistent. shot 4, 332, shot 5, 332. Yeah, very consistent. Liking that. And this should be the last shot, shot 6. 336. All right, so very consistent. They're all rolling down here to meet me, to greet me. All right, obviously no problem with my magazine. And no leaks, nothing. So just notice I got some water coming in down in the basement over here. Anyways, sorry to get sidetracked. Be careful I don't slip in that. We got a lot of snow melting and a lot of rain. So yeah, it's starting to make its way into the French drains, it looks like. All right, so I'm gonna turn this off, degas it, swap out the bottles, and I'm gonna try it on 1100. On 1100, which is actually, when I checked the bottle, it was actually a little over 1100. It was like between 1100 and 1200 psi when I checked last night. So I got one that's running low, and I got one that's running a little high. So that's what I'm dealing with over here. All right, so 800 psi worked out okay. We're going to try the 1100 tank with the 9.9 riot balls, 9.9 gram riot balls. That's this tank right here. Make sure I get this off. And what I'm gonna do, put this down for a second, pick up these balls before I trip on them. Put this other one over here too. All right, let's reset this. Reset the trap. Make sure the skirt's where it should be. And what I'm gonna do is, once I get this charged up and everything sounds good, then I'm gonna go ahead and load a magazine of the 9.9 gram balls, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put that little loop of tape around again, just in case I drop the mag. The other thing I did too was, when I pulled this all apart, this rear ASA that said for CO2 only, I actually put the lettering upside down this time. Isn't that nice? Anyways, it had like a tiny, tiny little pinhole that air was coming through, and it had a pin in the back of it as well that was causing some restriction. I pulled the pin and I drilled it out with a 1/16 drill bit, smallest bit I had. I drilled it out, so I should be getting more volume through here as well, which hopefully will be of some help. So we'll see. All right, this is the 1100 psi output tank. It's sitting at about 2500. Okay, it's not completely full, but it should be full enough for what we're going to do here. 2500. I'm going to go ahead and spin this on, and we're going to see what this baby does with a 1100, 1150. All right, let's air it up. Okay. I didn't hear the bolt. Unless it was really quiet. I did hear air, and I'm not hearing any air leaks, but I didn't hear the bolt. So I turned the gog off. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna release the air. Yeah. Okay. Didn't hear the bolt drop out either, so let me see, make sure I got the tank in there. That's all the way on. That's all the way on. All right, let's try it again and see. Not hearing a leak, but I'm not hearing the bolt engage either. It's kind of weird. That is strange. I don't know what to make of that, actually. I'm going to try a dry fire, I think, and just make sure that it's going to fire. Let's see. Let's try. Wow. Whew. That is loud. Holy cow. I should have had my headphones on. Whew. Yeah, very, very loud. All right, well, the bolt's working. I don't know why I was so stealthy. Apparently, with that new O-ring on the firing pin, I guess it's super stealthy. All right. I do not get that. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So here's 6 of the 9.9 gram riot balls. 1100 psi. Let me see if I can hold this service loop in case we get a mag drop. If we don't get a mag drop, then I'm guessing it was probably just the perfect storm with that hot and cold CO2, you know, with the preheated CO2 that I was preheating there, and the, you know, maybe with it colliding with the cold CO2 from the handle, I don't know, maybe causing turbulence or something, I don't know. I don't even know if that makes sense on this stuff, but talking all kinds of weather patterns and stuff. High pressure, low pressure, turbulence. I don't know, but we'll see. The mag drops. Hopefully this tape will catch it. And yeah. All right, 1100 psi, 9.9 gram ammo. And let's see. All right, shot 1. (390 feet per second). Interesting enough, the mag did not drop. Let's see if that continues that way. Shot 2. 388 feet per second. Kind of low though. Lower than I would expect for 1100 psi. I mean, I was getting higher numbers than that with the 3 times 12 gram that I was running, especially with it preheated. All right, shot 3. Came right back at me. 386 feet per second. And this is with the heavy stuff, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. All right, what is this? Shot 4. 382 feet per second. Shot 5. 382 feet per second. And that was either 5 or 6. I'm not sure now. That was too much chit-chatting, I guess. Let's see what we got. This is either 6 or we're out. Yeah, that was 6. 382 feet per second. And I'm glad that was 6 and we weren't out, because this thing dry firing is rough on the ears. All right. Yeah, so, all right, some good news, some bad news. Well, maybe not bad news, but good news is that not a single time did the magazine drop. Feeding HPA 1100 psi HPA through the rear. Now I don't know if I still have restriction in this setup. The setup was designed, it was optimized for CO2. I did remove the pin in the back, which opened up a pretty large port, and I drilled it out with a 1/16 drill bit, which it's, I mean, a lot bigger opening than there was there. I couldn't even barely blow through it before. It wasn't noticeable when you tried to blow through it. And then afterwards, I could blow air through it pretty good. So, yeah, I'm not sure why my feet per second so low. Even for the heavier 9.9 gram, I would have thought that we'd be somewhere up in the neighborhood of 450, 468. Hell, I think I got a 478 before, 488 before, when I was doing the preheated CO2. So I'm a little puzzled by that, but the consistency is fantastic. So, and maybe this is going to be a trade-off, you know. It could just be that. It could just be that there's going to be a trade-off. Or maybe this optimized for CO2 rear ASA, even though I drilled it, maybe it's not the best to use. Maybe I should consider trying something else. Could it be the GOG on and off too, causing some further restriction? I haven't drilled the GOG because honestly I don't know where to drill it. I don't want to damage it unless I can find out exactly how to do it. And I got to have some kind of on and off in here, because if this thing jams, starts acting up, I need to be able to, you know, especially with this much volume of air, I need to be able to turn it off. So, so that's that. Oh, I don't want to take it off there. There we go. And I'm going to double check this tank. I did check it last night as well after I checked the 800. And it was, like I said, it was, whoa. It was actually, over 1100. It was like somewhere around, I don't know, I'd probably say about 1150. I think it was about, yeah, it was about 1150. So let's see what it says now. One thing I noticed too with this tank that doesn't happen on the other tank is when I go to screw it on here, before I even turn this, crank this down to engage the pin, it's like that pin is sticking out. It's not really recessed at all. It's like actually sticking out a little bit higher. So it, before I even have to crank this down, it's already putting out pressure. Well, let's see what it's saying here. I don't know if that's normal for some of these. See, it's already putting out pressure and I didn't even turn this in. $1,000. All right, make a liar out of me. Well, last night, okay, I got 2,000 in the tank, and it's showing actually a little less than 1,100 now. Let me try it again. Almost 1,100. Now, last night it was actually showing about 1,150. I don't know if you can see that. So it's just shy of 1,100 now. And this tank, I topped it off to, actually no I didn't. Well, we just used it, so, but it was starting out at 25. Now it's just a little over, little under, I should say, little under 2,000 PSI in the tank. And yeah, it's creeping up to 11. Starting to creep up. So, you know, I can verify we did, you know, I can verify that gun was shooting on 1,100. So, again, I don't know how great that rear ASA is for this, since it was optimized for CO2, but I will say this much. I doubt it's optimized for CO2 now that I drilled it out. So I don't know. We'll see what the numbers are. I'll put them in there. It's just I know I was getting better off the 312 grams through that other setup, especially with the heated stuff. So, hey, hell, I was probably shooting, at least the first couple shots, I was probably pushing closer to 1200 psi probably through there, and it was preheated. So maybe that, hey, the good news too is that I didn't drop any magazines. So, I don't know. Maybe there's a trade-off. You got to shove some high-pressure hot gas through the freaking gun, blowing out magazines, or else we're gonna go with something a little more consistent and go with a cool HPA 1100. That's, obviously I'm not getting the amped up feet per second, but I'll take it either way. Either way, I'll take it. I think I will look into ordering another ASA. I think what I want to do, anyways, I've been thinking about doing it anyways, and I think I'm gonna pull the trigger on it. I think I'm gonna order that rear ASA that Sterling makes that has the fix in it, because I'm convinced it wasn't an O-ring that had the problem I had last night. I think it was that problem where it just randomly comes dislodged. And I probably could have fixed it if I had taken it apart and put it back in there right away. It probably would have resolved it. But I tried the O-ringing as well, just because I had one, I guess. So that's where I'm at with this. Mag drop, no mag drop on 1100 HPA. No mag drop, and that's with the 9.9 gram riot balls. So that's good. Much better consistency across the board, really nice and consistent, but definitely not as much power as I was developing with the preheated CO2s. So, but I'm going to get myself one of those new HPA rear ASAs with the fix, with the bolt fix for it, it's got the little the ledge on it, because I don't want to have another problem like that again. Especially if I need the gun for for home defense. You don't want that happen. Now you're gonna be like, wait a minute, buddy, while I go pull this all apart and fuss around with those freaking crazy threads on the back that takes you 10 minutes just to freaking try to get the thread started. So, anyways, thanks for watching. Feedback's always welcome. Thank you for your comments, and yeah, we'll go from here. All right. Peace out.